So at the tender age of 17, when I couldn't cast a vote myself, I was going around knocking on doors across South Mumbai, telling people to vote for Milind Deora.
But did you have a understanding of which party you'd like to join?
I was always clear that I was very, very aligned with the Congress's ideals. You abused the Congress government, said the Congress was bad, the NCPSP was bad. All of this is true. I agree with you. I'm not saying the past 70 years were glorious. People in my own party, people in politics who came before me did enough. And that is the impatience of youth that I'm entitled to. Back then, Section 377 was still on the statute books. It was illegal to be gay.
What do you think is the one fundamentally wrong thing with Indian politics today?
We've really reached a stage in Indian politics today where we've forgotten how to listen. And that needs to change immediately. On both sides of the political spectrum, you're witnessing a shutting down of voices unlike ever. On any post that you put out against the government and issue the most vile threats, from rape threats to death threats to insults to your mother and your sister to insults about your sexuality. People like me have to face on a daily basis. I cannot discount the fact that Narendra Modi ji will be important in this country's progress when I look back to history, even when the opposition comes to power.
What's your opinion on Maharashtra politics and what do you think is to come?
Maharashtra politics is broken. The desire for a power-hungry grab for seats and for the CM chair. You have seen a complete destruction of the moral fabric of Maharashtra politics. Ask questions of every governor, including my own, because I am entitled to governance. Pukar nahi kar raha hai koi. And that language that is settled, that politicians are doing you a favor, that progress is something that you should be grateful for, is what we have to remove.
Yeah.
It's not coming from their pockets. Your taxpayer money, my taxpayer money built that coastal road across successive governments.
A lot of tax.
A lot of tax.
Yeah. Anish, thank you for having us at your home, and it's a lovely home.
Thank you very, very much for coming all the way here.
Usually I welcome people. Today you are welcoming me.
I'm welcoming you home.
It's so beautiful, so rustic, and it made a Bombay boy move to Delhi.
Correct.
How?
And carry a piece of Mumbai to Delhi.
Yeah.
You can take the boy out of Mumbai, but you can't take the Mumbai out of the boy.
Yeah.
And when I moved to Delhi for the first time, it was a move that I had put away for years on end. Because growing up, if I was interested in politics, I knew that one day or another, I was going to have to come to Delhi.
Time aayega.
Time aayega.
Yeah.
So, apna time aa gaya. Because I was supposed to move here from the UK. I had just completed my Rhodes Scholarship at Oxford.
Yeah.
I'd gotten a grant to come back to India for a year. And I said, this is my chance to explore, to do something new and to really throw myself out there. And I said, let's move to Delhi. And that choice was easier said than done. I had all of my bags packed in London. I had packed a lot of the things that you see around because I am a hoarder.
Yeah.
And as luck would have it, I was talking to 36 brokers and none of them could find me a house.
In Delhi?
In Delhi.
Okay.
Because I was having some problem or the other because I'm very finicky.
Yeah.
So I was like, nahi, ye furniture nahi chalega. I was like, no, this layout of this house is terrible. I was like, there's not enough natural light. And the final house that I saw with a broker, after which the broker said, sir, aap hi dhoond lo. I said, nahi, upholstery hai na, wo nahi chalega. And he was like, you know what, at this point, find your own house.
Yeah.
And as luck would have it, my father's friends were a couple who live in Delhi long time ago. And one of them was someone who had a lot of friends who were Delhi aunties. And if you know anything about Delhi aunties, South Delhi aunties are the most powerful network in this country.
Really?
Hell hath no fury like a South Delhi auntie scorn. So if they put their mind to it, anything is possible.
Yeah.
So he sent out a message. 4 South Delhi aunties formed a coalition to find Anish a house. And within 2 hours, I had 2 options and this was one of them.
Really?
And I was very, very excited because I said, I love this house. And I said yes to my landlord and my landlady almost immediately, who are a delightful couple who live here in South Delhi only. And the house had been almost under lock and key for a decade.
Oh my God.
Because they were just looking for someone to love the house. And I said, I will love this house.
Yeah.
Bahut pyar karunga. And that's how it came about. So all of the furniture that you see here came with the house, except for some additions. The art I put up on the wall, but it became my little slice of paradise in Delhi. And a stint that I thought would only be 6 months has now continued for 3 years.
Wow. Bombay boy in Delhi for 3 years.
3 years. So everyone is constantly asking me, abhi bas Mumbai वापस आने का कोई इरादा नहीं है.
इरादा है?
इरादा पक्का करेंगे, अभी वक्त कहाँ आ गया. There's still time.
Yeah,
Why can't I have both?
Why can't you have?
Why can't I have both? So I'm greedy.
So
I
what
want-
about the art? Tell me what have you thought about in the art? I know we've started off on a
We started on a very different tangent. I
Different
enjoyed.
tangent,
You know,
yeah.
so the art world is something I stumbled into very randomly. So I was always a reader of poetry. And the Kala Ghoda festival used to have a lot of the poetry readings at art galleries.
Yeah.
So I used to go to Tark, I used to go to the David Sassoon Library, I used to go to Kemold. And over there, I met Ranjit Hoskote, who had translated the poetry of Lalde, a Kashmiri poet, from Kashmiri into English. And he was also a curator and a writer on art.
Yeah.
And so I started going to more art shows, I started going to more exhibitions. And my father started taking me to Jahangir Art Gallery.
Oh.
And so I started learning a lot more about art. I was an observer, a bystander. And as luck would have it, right before the pandemic began, unfortunately, a very incredible Marathi publishing house, Popular Prakashan, had a spectacular art collection
Okay.
that they wanted to do a show with. And they lived down the lane from me in Mumbai, and they said, will you curate the show? And I said, पर art के बारे में मुझे तो कुछ पता नहीं है. And they were like, no, you know the history of the publishing house, you know a lot of these artists, why don't you do it? And so I curated my first show at Sakshi Gallery in 2020 called Katarve, which is the moment where the night scissors into the day. It's a beautiful Marathi word about the sort of change in eras, and started collecting art.
Wow.
And so a lot of the art that you see around here on the walls is all by young contemporary Indian artists. So this, for example, is Ra Naqvi's work, and Ra is a super cool young artist now in the Netherlands. They're from Mumbai, but they work on a variety of themes, including a return to mythology. And they've used kalamkari, which is a form that's traditionally been used for the Ramayana and the Mahabharata, to actually depict the sacrifice of Ishmael in the Quran. You know, and it, to me, is one of the most beautiful examples of how that syncretism can only happen in a country like India.
Yeah.
That this ancient tradition that was used for a Hindu sort of
Script.
symbolic event
Yeah.
can also be used across religions, and we can learn to love each other and our cultures and mix them in ways that create beauty that would not have been possible in any other country except this one.
100%.
So
yeah.
all of these amazing young artists, I support a couple of fellowships. I used to run something called the Darashiko Fellowship in Kashmir, which was an arts residency where we had artists and filmmakers and writers and translators all come together for 1 month every year in Kashmir. There's the Immerse Fellowship that happens in Mumbai that brings young artists together. So the art world keeps me sane amidst all of the rough and tumble of politics, because, you know, art to me is deeply reflective.
Yeah.
It's for you to admire, and it's a world that is yours.
Yeah.
Nobody can tell you whether work is nice or not nice. Nobody can tell you how you should feel about a work. It's entirely personal.
Yeah.
And in a profession where everything is a little too political, having a little space for the person is always a lovely thing.
Yeah, it's beautiful. At least it maintains that expression in
It
your
does.
life. Right.
And a level of sanity.
So let's talk about the insanity of politics,
Oof.
right? Now, from the sane to the very insane, how did you decide that I want to be in politics? Because especially Gen Z politician, they just like they don't mix, right?
You know, I keep hearing that I'm Gen Z, but at heart, I'm a baby boomer.
Really?
You know, I feel 70 at heart, and I'm listening to Kishore Kumar's songs that my mother used to play on the radio when my Spotify turns on. So, you know, when everyone is doing their Spotify Wrapped, I'm very embarrassed to show mine. Because I'm like, in Aankhon Ki Masti Ke is like most
But why would you
played.
be embarrassed? It's beautiful.
Because yeah, all of these young people are doing Charlie XCX, so I don't understand the music of,
Yeah.
and some Taylor Swift, who also I don't understand the music of, although I must support Taylor Swift, because if I don't, then
Yeah.
यहाँ पे हम
Then
cancel
that's
हो
it. It's
जाएंगे.
over. It's
Then
all
it's
over.
over.
Yeah.
Then my political career is over, art career is over, all career is over.
Taylor
So,
Swift is the supreme.
Taylor
you have
Swift
to
is the
love her no
supreme.
matter
Bow
where you
down
are.
to Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But so, you know, growing up, I was always very interested in politics. So my father and I used to fight over the remote because he wanted to watch Arnab Goswami. I used to want to watch Barkha Dutt.
Okay.
And we used to have cats and dogs wala fights. Ki, why is the Congress party good? Why is the BJP good? Why is this bad? Why is this not bad? And it was something that I was very passionate about. And this was when I was back in school. And obviously, I didn't think I would make much of it. As someone who grew up in Mumbai, you know, politics is very far away. The
Very
politics
far.
is there.
Yeah.
Like, what is politics? We don't know politicians. We don't know anybody in politics. I don't come from a political family. And so I was like, that would remain an interest that was supposed to be discussed at dinner time. But as luck would have it, I was studying at the Cathedral and John Collins School for my 11th and 12th. And one of the alumni of that school was Milind Devra,
Oh yeah, of
who
course.
used to be a minister at the central level and Mumbai South MP.
Yeah.
And
Very popular in Mumbai.
Very
South.
popular
Yeah.
Mumbai South MP, and one of my dearest friends and mentors now. But at that time, he put out a little poster saying, "We want volunteers for the Milind Devra initiative." And I said, "Chalo." It was the period between my prelims and my board exams. I'd already gotten into university abroad to go study in the US. So I said, "Abhi time hai, itni padhai karni to nahi hai. So let's work on an election campaign." And so at the tender age of 17, when I couldn't cast a vote myself,
Yeah.
I was going around knocking on doors across South Mumbai, telling people to vote for Milind Devra.
Oh my God.
And that was an amazing experience because one, it infuriated my father because he's like, "Ye kya kar baithe? You've gone and joined my enemy." And two, it gave me an experience unlike any other because it taught me what the real rough and tumble of politics looks like.
Yeah. But did you have a understanding of which party you'd like to join, right? Even
No,
in your
I was
formative
always
years?
clear that I was very, very aligned with the Congress's ideals.
Right.
I was very aligned with this idea of a multicultural, syncretic India. I was very invested in a closer look at reform in education. I was very inspired by, and I continue to be inspired by Jawaharlal Nehru. I think as an institution builder, he left a very deep imprint upon me as a young person. The fact that he built IITs and IIMs, the fact that he could also be somebody who wrote a book like Discovery of India,
Yeah.
the fact that he could be a literary person but also a politician was something that really moved me and inspired me.
Yeah.
And the other influences that came to me were people like Swami Vivekananda, who's here, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, the books you'll see here. And so it was a political journey that was not defined so much by a political party, but by a set of icons who I admired and values that I shared.
Right.
And for me, those values fundamentally were about care. I was seeing a lot of conversations in politics around me that were very rational. It was about infrastructure, it was about progress, it was about development. I was also seeing a lot of conversations that were about religion, about caste, about ethnicity. But I wasn't seeing enough of conversations around why do we need to have politicians who care about people, right? And for me, it was very important as somebody who wanted to make a difference to be in politics, to be able to make change happen at a scale that NGOs simply could not make that change happen.
Yeah.
At a scale at which individuals simply could not make that change happen, right? And so it became a driving force to see how could we bridge these divides. And the living room conversations I had with my father taught me that I want to move towards a politics that listens rather than sort of shouts over each other. Completely different story that now I'm on all of these shouting panels on TV debates every night at 9 p.m. But to me, it was very important to create a political ecosystem that listens and nurtures voices. So back then, the Congress Party and Milind Devra were the people I looked up to. And so I've always believed that the people in politics are more important than the party. And so Milind was somebody I looked up to, I admired. He was a young leader. He'd started off by giving computers to kids in Girgaon and ensuring that young children of mill workers could actually learn how to use computers and move ahead in life.
Like introducing them to the digital age.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And way back when, right? And I said, this is the vision I want. And so I worked with him. I ended up going to university after. And a big shift happened there because I came out of the closet.
Yeah.
Right?
And this was in university when you were
And this was in university in New York. For the first year at university, I was still very clear that I want to work in politics. I want to come back to India, either work as an IAS officer, IFS officer, lawyer, something political or public facing. And so I stayed in the closet that whole time. And as a young boy growing up, I knew I was different. I knew I was not straight. I knew I was gay. But I kept that at the back of my mind and said, no, you have to keep this part of your life shut out. And when I went to New York, after one full year of being in the most progressive city in the world, I finally went to my campus therapist and said, I can't deal with this anymore. I need help because I need your help staying in the closet. And she smiled at me and said, of course, we'll work on it. But as things happen, you realize that you can't hide a part of yourself.
Yeah.
You can't put a part of your identity in a closet forever. And that lesson really came to me when I got an internship to work in Paris at the Indian Embassy in New York. In Paris, sorry. And I knew nobody there, nobody knew me. And my biggest fear back then, and it was a little megalomaniac fear, was that I would go on a dating app and somebody would see my photo and they'd put it on the front page of the Times of India. And so I was very scared. I was like, I can't be out anywhere. In New York also, people know me. Here, people know me. Someone in college will see this, that. So I was very scared.
Yeah.
So in Paris, I was like, yahan koi mujhe nahi janta, main kisi ko nahi pehchanta, so I can I can finally
It's
come out.
away from the
Exactly.
from the spotlight.
And,
Yeah.
and I came out and it was beautiful.
Hmm.
And it truly allowed me to sort of be happier. And I said, happiness is something that I don't want to compromise on.
Yeah.
And so the rest of my time at university, I said, chalo, abhi wapas India ja hi nahi sakte. And I gave up on my aspirations of coming back to India.
Did you think that it would conflict with your political ambition?
Absolutely. You know, back then, Section 377 was still on the statute books. It was illegal to be gay. And we'd not made the progress that we made in the last few years with the Supreme Court passing progressive verdicts. And so it was a very difficult time that you couldn't be out and about and be very publicly open about your sexuality like so many of us can be today.
Yeah.
From Parmesh Shahani, who heads Godrej India Culture Labs, to Keshav Suri, who heads the Lalit Group, and so many other changemakers like Radhika Piramal, who heads VIP Industries, or Menika Guruswamy and Arundhati Kajju, who are like rockstar Supreme Court lawyers. You know, all of these people faced incredible challenges with being out because of the law.
So when did you decide that, okay, you know, this is something that, of course, is a deterrent, but I'm going to maneuver it and I still want to do politics and I still want to go back to my
I'd fully
country?
given up on it. I studied comparative literature. I studied Francophone West Africa and Senegalese linguistics in the 1960s, and I decided I'll become a professor in the US.
Yeah.
Until 4 days before my graduation, when Milind called me up and said, Acha, you'll run my campaign. And I said, I'm very out and in New York City. And he said, so? And he'd been somebody who'd supported LGBT rights in 2008. Way back when, before anybody raised their voice on it. And he'd said that, you know, LGBTQ plus rights are human rights. We have no right to discriminate against anybody on account of their gender or their sexuality, right? And he said, no, come back. And I said, chalo, come back. And so 4 days after graduation from Columbia, I packed up my bags, left New York City, moved back to Mumbai and started working on the election campaign.
Wow.
And that was an opportunity that really let me come into my own, navigate this sphere while being out, and then recognize that a lot of the fears that I had were not necessarily as valid as I believed them to be, and that I could actually overcome.
Like you accentuated them in your head.
I did. You know, you build up these massive scenarios in your head. Like, you know, I thought I'd be on the front page of the Times of India because I'm on a dating app.
But you know, you have that fear, especially when you're public facing, right?
Yeah.
Like anything that you do subtly plays at the back of your head that this may become a conversation, especially because it's so easy to do that.
Absolutely. And particularly at a time when, you know, dragging people down is so easy, making something sensational is so easy, you sort of create these worst case scenarios in your head and you're like, what will I respond to this? How will I respond to that? If the question is this, how will I answer in this way? And it took a turn for the better when I was sent on the Maharashtra Congress's Jana Sangharsha Yatra. And for 6 months, I traveled across the length and breadth of Maharashtra right after coming back from New York City, from Ichalkaranji to Pathardi, to Yavatmal, to the Konkan, and discovered the state in a way that I'd never before, you know. And as someone who grew up in Mumbai, you know, you're very used to the urban life. You've not really known anything about rural Maharashtra.
Yeah, you think it's different.
You think it's very different and you've never experienced it and for such a long period of time. And you always have this misconception that, oh, people living in cities are more progressive, people living in villages are illiterate, unpad, gawar, regressive, discriminatory. And that changed completely. And that's when a flip switched in my head also, where I realized that actually there were leaders like Raju Shetty, who's a farmer's leader from Hatkanangale, who said, I'm a farmer's rights leader. If I don't support LGBTQ plus rights, it's hypocritical. I have to stand up for the rights of everyone who is sort of not getting their due in society.
Yeah.
And I said, wow, this is such an amazing way of framing things. And that's when I started Pink List India, which is the organization that I created in 2019, which became the first list that tracked politicians who supported LGBTQ plus rights in India.
How many were there?
We had 161 who'd spoken up on LGBTQ plus issues and 116 in the last Lok Sabha who were supportive of LGBTQ plus rights.
This is in 2019?
This is in 2019 after the Lok Sabha, which was amazing.
What are the numbers now?
The numbers we're still in the process of compiling right now with the new Lok Sabha. So you'll see those numbers out soon. We're creating a whole new platform.
It'll be interesting to see,
Pink List India. And we've seen that there has been a progress on that front, right?
Okay.
And we realized that the homophobic comments that you see were aberrations rather than the rule. You know, they were the exception. Because you were playing them up, you know, ki acha, isne ye kaha, so homophobic. And we said, you know, लाठी है हाथ में, लाठी लेके मारो, पर गाजर भी होना चाहिए. So we said, why are we not rewarding the MPs who have gone out of their way and said positive, progressive things? You know, how we recognize and acknowledging the good work they've done across party lines. So, you know, the amazing thing about these 116 MPs is they're from every single political party. They're from almost every single state. They're not just the young ones. They're across age groups. They're across educational qualifications. So some of the least educated MPs are the most progressive.
Wow.
And so it breaks the stereotype that we have, you know, especially when you grow up in a Mumbai or an urban area, ki, oh, educated means better, educated politicians are better politicians, or grew up in a city means liberal, English speaking means more sort of sophisticated.
Yeah.
And it went viral. I woke up on a Sunday morning to hundreds of missed calls and so many messages because on the opinion page of the Times of India, right next to Shobha Day's column, which is the only column anybody reads in that newspaper, there was a huge article with my interview saying, you're always told you can't be queer in Indian politics, that needs to change. With a bada photo of me.
Wow. What was the photo? Was it good? Like
it was a great photo.
It was a great.
So it was a great photo.
Okay.
I said, you know, thank God.
Yeah.
But it was me in my graduation robes looking very elegant and regal. But I was like, baap re. Because now everyone and their aunt knew that I was gay.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no going back.
Yeah.
Because now this is public knowledge. And so that's what I learned to embrace my biggest fear. Because I said that one fear that I had, कि dating app वाली photo Times of India के front page पे छपेगी, came true in some ways.
You know what Gen Zs call this?
What?
Manifestation.
Manifestation.
You have manifested.
I really hope I was not manifesting a scandal.
Subtly, you know,
subtly manifesting a scandal
yeah.
that became the biggest strength I have today.
Yeah.
Because what it meant was that I could live my life as I wanted to, without any fear.
Yeah.
And without any fear of somebody exposing me or somebody sort of outing me or becoming a scandal. I said, kya kar logi?
Now it's there.
I'm there and I've said it.
Yeah.
So how will you use it against me?
Correct.
And that's where that journey began, and it's been an exciting journey ever since.
So far before this happened, right, where it was in a newspaper and it was a con that effectively allowed you to embrace and be fearless, what was the internal conversation, right, at home, with your friends, with people who matter to you? How did that conversation play out for you when you were still in college and you weren't out?
You know, I took a semester off to come back to India to see whether or not I'll be able to be out over here. I'd come out slowly in New York to friends.
Yeah.
I had very supportive friends who I call my families of choice. I think we all have families of birth and we have families of choice.
Yeah.
And I think I've been very grateful to have such spectacular families of choice who stood by me through thick and thin, who became the support systems that I needed before I had the courage to come out to my family. And then I came out to my sisters and my brother, and they were very supportive. I came out to them on a journey to the airport. I told them, all three of you have to drop me to the airport.
So sweet.
And they were all very confused because they were like, what is going on? Like, you've never asked anybody to drop
like
me
a
to the
grand
airport.
farewell.
Like this grand farewell, and they're like, it's the middle of the afternoon, why?
Yeah.
And I was like, no, you must come. And I keep the suspense going on until you get onto that little bridge that you go to enter T2. Which is a little elevated bridge.
Yeah.
And in the 3 minutes that you have between entering that bridge and reaching the door, I came out to them.
Oh my God.
And then I was like, okay, bye, I'm going, see you. And I take my bags and I disappear onto a 14-hour direct flight without any internet, without any Wi-Fi, without anything.
Done. Now
and I'm like, bus, now you deal with it, process it. I can't, I'm too overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And they were obviously very sweet. They were crying and they were being so lovely. And they were the most supportive family members I could have asked for.
Yeah.
And fast forward to a few months later, when I'd come back home, I decided that it was time to come out to my family at large. And we were all in Pune.
Parents included.
Parents included.
Right.
So I grew up in a joint family.
Yeah.
So I've just told you this. I have two sets of parents. I have two fathers, two mothers, because my dad's older brother and his wife are my parents as well. And I had to come out to everybody together because I said that I'm so close to all of you that I want to be able to do this justice in a way that feels personal and special. And so we were all in Pune for Diwali. And this was in the evening and we just finished bursting some crackers and all of us had come back in and everyone was scattered around the house, and I told my sister, shall I tell them now? She's like, yes. And I was like, can you get everyone together? And she's like, okay. And so she is a very bossy woman. And so she just summoned everybody to the living room.
Immediately.
It's like, everyone, I want you to come to the living room. Now 12 Gawandes assembled in one living room. And the 6 adults are really confused as to what is happening. Because they've been summoned and they're like, since when do we get summoned? We're the ones summoning you.
Yeah.
And she sat down. I was sitting here, my 2 sisters were there, and my brother was sitting there. And I remember her going, listen, we have something to tell you. We are not asking you. We are not discussing this. We are telling you this. We do not want your opinions. We want you to listen to this and accept it for what it is. And this whole room goes pin drop silent. Because everyone is wondering, what is she going to say?
Yeah. And obviously they're thinking it's leaning towards her life.
Correct.
Or her choices, yeah.
And no, because then she's also looking at me, so they're wondering what is happening with Anish.
Yeah.
And I've always been the sweet boy in the family, getting good grades and sort of never being a troublemaker.
Studying excessively, yeah.
Correct, studying excessively. And later on, they told me they'd been terrified that I'd gotten a girl pregnant. And so I was like, there couldn't be anything further from the truth. But all of this gets said, and then she, in a dramatic crescendo climax, says, Anish, do you want to say it? And I am just like clutching both their hands and like, no.
You're so sweet.
And she came out for me and she goes, Anish is gay.
And what did they say?
And there was pin drop silence. And then suddenly a nod, okay. And I was like, a conservative Maharashtrian right-wing family is suddenly thinking that their son being gay is okay. Until my father goes, hey? And I said, oh my God, what is he going to say? What is he going to think? And he says, Anish is dating. I don't know where he got that from.
Yeah.
It's like, no. Anish is gay. Again, there's a ball in my stomach. I don't know how he's going to respond. He also goes, okay. And then my uncle says something so beautiful that still makes me tear up even now. He said, and I was amazed, ki itni Angrezi kahan se seekh li? He said, we're a family that will stand up against the world to protect our own.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And it was the most beautiful moment. My father, who's otherwise a very reserved man, gave me a kiss on my forehead. And I was overwhelmed, and I obviously was crying at this point. And
everybody was crying.
In everyone's eyes, and all the hugs happened. And then 5 minutes later on the dining table, we were discussing my sister's marriage and how we would find her a husband. And I was like, ye kya hai,
so
yaar? What is this anticlimactic sort of downfall ki thoda to scandal ghar pe to rakh dete.
It was just another dinner table conversation.
It was just another dinner table conversation. And after that, they've been my strongest pillar of support. I would not have been able to come out and start Pinkless India without them. I would not have had the courage to come out so publicly without their firm backing. I would not have had the guts to be out and proud in a very, very sort of toxic work environment like politics.
Yeah.
If I didn't know that my family was squarely behind me.
Yeah.
So I've been very, very grateful for both my families of birth and families of choice.
That's so sweet.
In this journey.
And
so
it was
far.
such a sweet story. My God. I feel like I was there. Like I could picture it. So you painted a very beautiful picture for everybody who's watching, right? And could be motivated to have this kind of a reaction.
I'm still a big megalomaniac. I'm like, Zoya Akhtar movie bana do.
Yeah.
Tell Zoya, please. Like a movie, na, isko kitna acha scene hai.
It's such a good scene.
Endorsed by Karishma.
Yeah, it's such a good scene. I agree. Fully.
It was fun. It was a very beautiful, heartwarming moment. And ever since then, it's been a very reassuring journey.
Yeah.
And I think it's been very useful to have them in your corner.
So while this was such a soft experience for you, where, it was almost like a non-conversation.
Yes.
It was just like, okay, that's fine. And move on to the other topic. I feel like politics especially, right? They can, and by they I mean like just in the space at large, like things like this or things that people think are your weakness are used against you.
Absolutely.
Have you found that so far?
Absolutely, right? I think politics is a rough and tumble game. It's not a very easy space to be in or survive within. The Janasangharsh Yatra that I was telling you about, where I went across the length and breadth of the state, was an interesting one. Because I'd just come back from New York. I didn't have a wardrobe. I didn't know what to wear.
Yeah.
And so all of these clothes were sort of created as part of a political aesthetic that I now had to don. And over the course of that campaign trail, I did hear murmurs behind my back, some homophobic comments, some snide comments, some sort of, nasty things said behind my back.
Yeah. Which are condescending.
Which were condescending. But I was grateful to have the support of both Milind and Ashok Chavan, who was the Maharashtra president for the Congress party then. So I could let them be without them affecting my work, which was a privilege, right? For many people, these things can be used against you in a way where opportunities can be taken away from you.
You don't have work effectively.
You don't have work effectively, right? And so I had to grow a thick skin there. But what was very amazing was at the end of those 6 months, one of those people passing those comments sort of quietly came to me after one of the rallies and was like, "Acha, who's your tailor?"
Who's your tailor?
Because I was like, how sweet, like this person who'd probably also grown up with very toxic ideas of masculinity, about what a man should behave like, about how he should be gruff and rough and tumble, had also discovered a soft side to himself and said that, I'm now in a space where I also want to perhaps explore what it means to embrace even something as simple as aesthetics.
Yeah.
I want to dress nicely because I can, not because dressing nicely is such a womanly thing to do.
Yeah, like aesthetics and fashion is not a gender domain.
It's not a gender.
It's gender neutral.
Right? Yeah. It's gender neutral. You can express yourself through your clothes.
Right.
And so that was very lovely. Yeah. And now in my present role as national spokesperson for the NCP SP, I've been very, very grateful to have a rock star of a boss like Supriya Sule. Supriya Tai is a trailblazer in more ways than one.
Yeah.
And she's been a pioneer on LGBTQ plus issues and women's rights long before even I joined the party. Honestly, long before I was even old enough to know what politics was.
Right.
And she has been such an amazing pillar of strength because she has clarified time and again that I don't care whether you're gay or straight. I've chosen you for your work and because you're good at what you do.
As it should be.
As it should be.
Yeah.
And if anyone tries to discriminate against you on the basis of your sexuality, then they can deal with me directly.
Wow.
And I've learned that it makes such a difference to have a woman as your boss,
Really?
The care, the compassion, the sort of steely grit and resolve that you can see when somebody is not afraid to take risks. It is a risk, right? I mean, you have somebody representing your party who is gay, and people can use that against your party as well.
Exactly.
Right?
It's a reflection of the party.
It's a reflection of the party. So it can be used against you. You have to have the courage to say that it might not be a popular opinion. It might not play out. And it could have played out very wrongly. I'm very grateful that actually it received praise across the board, across the political aisle. Some of my closest friends today are in the BJP and in the NDA alliance, and they're very warm and accepting of my sexuality. So many people across the party have been very warm and accepting, but it could have gone another way as well.
Of course, and you never know. It's like
throwing
a coin in the air and seeing where it lands.
And that's where I think someone like a Supriya Tai had the guts to take that decision, and guts that very often you don't see political leaders have in today's political climate.
Yeah, to have the spine to also do it.
Absolutely.
Right? Like you can think it.
Absolutely.
And then to do it is two very different things.
Very different things.
Yeah.
Playing a high risk, high reward game and saying, you know what, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do something new.
Yeah.
And I was also the youngest national spokesperson to be appointed.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
I was appointed at 27. We joked at forever
and
27 age. Now I'm 29 because of Krishna.
Wow,
I've aged in a minute. I've upgraded and updated.
So this is the one, and then
this is the one. After this, I stay 29. I cannot cross 30 because I have to first become like this 30 under 30 lists and all I have to get on.
Yeah,
first.
We have this 1 year. It'll happen.
We have 1 year. We'll have it happen quickly. So 27, she made me national spokesperson for a party and gave me the responsibility to go on TV and defend the party live before a Vidhan Sabha election. So it was really some of the most, those were some of the most amazing days that I've had in politics, and it really made me so grateful as somebody who doesn't come from a political family, as somebody who has no connections to politics, to be able to be in a position where I can actually possibly see a future for myself in politics.
Yeah.
That's been truly
that's gratifying also. It's been a dream fulfilled.
It has been a dream fulfilled.
Also, it's the most public that you can be, because you're on
It is- I'm
television
on
defending. Yeah. Like in the sense, every night, 9 p.m. on
Every
your
night, 9
television
p.m..
is this person who seemingly thought that I don't have a place in politics.
Absolutely.
To actually having that viewership is a crazy tangent.
And it's such an amazing thing because I think it's been a rewarding journey for me to also now encourage so many other young people who always thought that politics is not for them, that they can't enter politics.
Yeah. Gen
To
Z.
come into Gen Z
Yeah.
and to really imagine a future in politics.
Yeah.
And these are kids who've not been allowed into decision-making rooms or been told that politics is not for them,
Or like, don't do it.
or don't do
Like
it.
when I was growing up, it was like,
It's a taboo, like
Yeah.
it's a dirty profession.
just don't become an actor or politician.
Don't become an actor or a politician.
That's it, like
I
blanket
keep
rule.
joking. I keep
Yeah.
joking that I couldn't become a B-list Bollywood actor, so I became a politician. At least हमारा चेहरा हर रात न्यूज़ पे आता है.
You're a bit of both
उससे
now.
ज़्यादा मैं a bit of both.
Yeah.
Acting हम politics में. But no.
So you have a very different vantage point on politics, because obviously
Yes.
you have no political background
No.
whatsoever, and it's just something that you wanted to do, and you had this thing in your head, right? Like politics will be this or that, or you had a certain perception, and then cut to entering and being like front and center. So in your vantage point, what do you think is the one fundamentally wrong thing with Indian politics today?
We've really reached a stage in Indian politics today where we've forgotten how to listen. And that needs to change immediately. On both sides of the political spectrum, you're witnessing a shutting down of voices unlike ever before. On one side, you say anything, you're called an anti-national, this, that, you're immediately branded as against the country. On the other side, if you say anything supporting the government, you're called a traitor to the cause, you're said to be in cahoots with the BJP.
A bhakt.
Or a bhakt, or you're sort of immediately branded as a bhakt if you support anything. You should know this better than anybody else.
I do.
But this is the stage we've reached at.
Yeah.
And in a country as large as India, where you have 1.5 billion people, consensus is the only way forward in the political sphere. Because if you do not take every single person along, and if you don't find a middle ground that is acceptable to everybody in the country, then you're setting up a recipe for a disaster.
Yeah.
And I think the challenge today is that we are faced with a double whammy. The first is that politics itself has gotten polarized. But the second is that the formats that we use to communicate with people have also enabled this polarization to take place. I remember in 2014, you used to read the newspaper front to
Like
back,
cover to cover.
cover to cover, right? And you would learn a little bit about what is happening in Solapur and Satara also. You would learn about what's happening in sports also. You would know what's playing at Prithvi Theatre also. You would know what the most important political news also. You'll know what the most important global news is also, right? And there was a balanced perspective on all of these issues. When you switched on the TV, there was a certain decorum. Both sides were represented. There was a civil debate taking place. In 2019, I witnessed that change with something like Twitter. Right? Twitter became this space where everyone had to have an opinion. And the best way to have a good opinion was to take down somebody else's opinion. Right? So it became a very aggressive space. It became a confrontational space. Suddenly, a discussion was not about coming to a mutual common ground, it was about proving the other person wrong. Right? And that has now translated into an age of Instagram Reels, into something that none of us know how to negotiate with, particularly when it comes to complex, nuanced issues.
Give me an example.
The reservation issue. People have very strong views on reservation. Should abolish reservation is one side, should keep reservation forever is another side. And both sides are refusing to listen to each other. We've forgotten the impetus behind reservation put in place by Baba Saheb Ambedkar.
Yeah.
The fact that caste discrimination remains a scourge of Indian society is the reason why reservation is necessary. But before you say this whole point, your 3 seconds of attention on Instagram reel are over.
Yeah. And do you think that that's the only way to communicate news that's relevant? Because I know that there are a certain section of people who do watch the news and tune in, but there are a certain section of people who don't read the newspaper, don't consume
They're all
anything.
seeing Faye D'Souza's Instagram
Yeah,
posts.
or like you're watching Instagram, right? Like
watching
you're
Instagram.
subscribing to a certain ideology, following the people who are communicating in that bucket. And that's your source of news, which is
Absolutely.
extremely dangerous because there's no way to verify it. Anybody can be saying anything. And I mean, of course, there are a few
And
pioneers.
you create an echo chamber for yourself, you know.
Yeah.
So if I'm supporting the left, then I'll be reading The Wire or Scroll. If I'm supporting the right, I'll be reading Tatva India or some other sort of right-wing handle, right? I'm only consuming content that confirms the opinions I already have.
Yeah, it's that you subscribe to.
Correct. I don't want to be challenged.
Yeah.
I don't want to change my mind on something. I don't want to engage with an idea. And before I've even gotten to a point where I engage with an idea, the attention span of the viewer is over.
And then they move on to the next.
And they move on to the next thing. So the sensational, the scandalous, the quick, the sort of dramatic gains precedence. And how do people engage? On Instagram comments.
Yeah.
Right? On Instagram comments, you can't have a discussion. You're either hating a video or you're loving a video.
But I had this interview with Badshah where he said, do you realize that the number of people who will actually post positive comments is far lesser than somebody who will post negative comments? Like if you like something or you like it or you understand it or appreciate it, you won't necessarily say that.
Yeah.
Like I won't be like, I like it, right? Like, or I'll at max be like DMing you saying, hey, like, good job.
Lovely.
I don't think I'll post a comment, but the people who disagree with you will make it a point to leave that comment. And he's like, therefore, this trolling culture, therefore you see the negative, therefore you see the hate culture, because they're just more vocal.
And we've not figured out a way to transform the algorithms into ways that support positivity, right? And this is a bigger structural issue than BJP or Congress or India or even another country or the US. It's a global problem, right? How do we create a platform that encourages dialogue rather than debate?
Right.
How do we create spaces that encourage you to listen to the other person rather than be in a rush to put your opinion down and prove the other person wrong?
But don't you think it's part of the system? Because so many people discuss the BJP machinery, for example. If there is dissent, there will be a dedicated number of people wherever, in whichever social media platform, who will post under that particular asset on social media.
You know, the unfortunate reality is that the BJP created a monster that it cannot control itself anymore, right? They created a troll army in 2014 to silence the opposition's voice.
Yeah.
Or rather, at that time, the government's voice. In 2019, that became a troll army that started silencing the opposition's voice. You know, these are the sort of nameless, faceless trolls on Instagram and Twitter who will post all sorts of comments on any post that you put out against the government and issue the most vile threats, from rape threats to death threats to insults to your mother and your sister to insults about your sexuality, that people like me have to face on a daily basis, right?
Yeah.
And it is sickening because it is a reflection of a political strategy that has gone so far out of the realm of the decent that it has become a immoral strategy today, right? But the problem is that same strategy that benefited them in 2014 and 2019 came to bite them in 2024, which is why you saw their numbers reduce in this election. You know, because for a party that created this troll army, they realized that the troll army could not be controlled. So now you just have a lot of these trolls online that were all part of this system that have been fed on a cocktail of hate, who will redirect that hate to anybody.
It doesn't matter.
Including against the Prime Minister.
Yeah.
You know, including against BJP ministers.
Yeah.
Right? After something like Operation Sindoor, or rather even after the Pahalgam attacks, it was so heartbreaking for me to see people turn a terrorist attack in our country into a Hindu-Muslim issue.
But that's kind of been the trend and the pattern, right? It fundamentally boils down to that.
It doesn't serve the government either. I remember calling up the Chief Secretary's office in Maharashtra and saying that a young Kashmiri student is being beaten up in Nagpur because of this hate that is being propelled, and they took action immediately because even the government recognized that when violence spreads onto the street, you allow the enemy to win.
Yeah.
And the first post that I put out of the Pahalgam attack is that we must not let this become a Hindu-Muslim issue, because this is precisely what the enemy wants. This is what terrorists want.
And this has been like the formula or the concoction since the British era, right? Like
Absolutely.
it's always been divide and rule,
Absolutely.
and that theme continues to play
And
out.
our external
decade after
enemies are
decade.
dividing and ruling us now, and they're supporting this divide and rule, and we're falling into their trap.
Yeah.
So I don't even necessarily only blame the BJP for this. Sometimes they're unwilling participants. They don't know what's happening even to them.
Yeah.
Right? And I give them enough flack and more on national television every night, but I also understand that sometimes it is important for a party to recognize that it's made a mistake and to course correct. But in this political atmosphere today, saying that you made a mistake is taboo. You can't say you've been wrong.
Correct.
On all sides.
Yeah.
Which generates this weird sense of immaturity in the political discourse. Everyone is saying that we're always right. My party leader says something wrong, I will defend them even if it's wrong.
Correct.
If the BJP person says something that's right, I will oppose them even if they're saying something that's right.
Yeah.
So that has fueled this divide and rule even further.
Hmm.
And what we're witnessing today is a creation of hate that threatens to destabilize exactly the kind of India that allowed this painting to become possible.
Yeah.
Right? That allowed a kalamkari work to take a story from the Quran.
Yeah.
And that's an India we have to fight very hard for.
So when you say that in the political atmosphere today, break it down for me in terms of what exactly it looks like right now and what you hope for it to look. Because a lot of people believe that the opposition does not exist in India. And that is a very popular belief just because of the sheer numbers or the dominance, or it could even be the public support or the trolling or, all of these factors that could lead one to believe that the opposition in India is weak.
This is why Karishma is the best interview in the country, because suddenly you switch from the personal to the political, and at times now debate face has to come on and a very different way of answering questions has to arrive. And it's a very important question. I'm glad you've asked it. The crisis in India today is a crisis of political imagination. It's a crisis that the opposition must take equal responsibility for, and it's a crisis that the government must acknowledge as a crisis before it is too late.
Hmm.
The opposition today knows what we are against. We don't know what we are for.
Right.
And that is a major challenge, right? And for me, that comes from a very academic perspective, right? For the first 60 years after independence, we embarked upon a Nehruvian vision of progress that I think was fundamental in ensuring that India became the country it is today. I'm a committed and staunch Nehruvian, and I will remain so despite all of the trolls.
Yeah.
Because the vision that a Jawaharlal Nehru had for this country of ensuring that rationality was at the heart of progress ensured that we never slid into a dictatorship, ensured that we remained a democracy unlike our neighbors, ensured that we achieved progress and lifted more people out of poverty in a record amount of time than any other country in this world, and ensured that we created institutions that each one of us can be proud of today. Right from the Nehru Memorial Library that exists in New Delhi, to the IITs that exist across this country, and the IIMs that everybody wants to go to get their MBAs, right? Yeah. And a space program that was set in place long before any other country dreamt of going into space, right? That rationality-based model was very important in ensuring a country that did not have basic education for the masses, that had an average life expectancy of under 50 years, could reach a stage today where every single person can have access to a toilet under this government. So we must not forget that the successes of governments that have come today have been built upon the backs of hard work done by governments before.
100%. It's
so
compounds.
Governance
it's not,
is continuity.
Yeah.
I cannot discount the fact that Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji was important in this country's progress.
Yeah.
I cannot discount the fact that Narendra Modi ji will be important in this country's progress when I look back to history, even when the opposition comes to power. Yeah. I cannot dismiss an entire government entirely, because every government does work for the people. I've held this view all the time that no politician is against the people of this country.
Yeah.
Because you would not be in this profession otherwise. You see people suffer every day. You would have to have a heart of steel to not be affected by it. So everyone is trying their best. They might be wrong. They might make bad decisions. But I don't really genuinely believe that the intent is bad. Right? Now the BJP has come in with an alternative view. Right? They have a view of Hindutva being the pillar upon which the country should progress. They have a view that the cultural and civilizational values of this country have been ignored by a Nehruvian model of progress. They think Nehru was too soft on China. They think Nehru was too sort of appeasing of minorities. They think Nehruvian progress did not do enough for the Hindu history of this country. And perhaps they have a valid point, right? Perhaps there has been a way in which appeasement politics has sort of impacted the Nehruvian vision that took the country to this point. But unfortunately, they've done the same thing that the opposition is doing today, where they identified a problem without identifying the right solution. The solution to Hindu history being left out is not erasing Muslim history. The solution to saying that, oh, we don't think the Cholas were not appreciated enough is not to say the Mughals did nothing for this country. The solution to sort of figuring out that only a certain family is glorified in politics is not to remove the contributions of that family entirely and to change history textbooks and sort of create a new hero worship.
Yeah, like
of your own
rewriting
time.
history effectively.
And to what end, right? It doesn't work because you will fall into the same trap that you sort of identified within the governments that came before you. So today, I think we're at a critical crossroads. And this is a moment that began in 2014 that I think will continue for a couple of more decades. The BJP, the Congress, the NCPSP, all parties today are figuring out what comes after the foundation that Jawaharlal Nehru built for us today. Right? What does the next century look like for India in terms of the vision we have for the progress we make and what India's position in the world is?
Yeah.
It is a shame that there were more international students studying in India as a percentage of students in this country's population in the 1960s than there are today. India used to be the center of learning. JNU used to have students from across the SAARC region, from Central Asia, from even Europe coming to study at JNU, right? We've demolished these institutions and reduced them to the ground. Our public healthcare system, which used to be one of the finest in the world because everybody could get care at a government hospital. It would take time, it was not the best care available, but for a country that did not have resources, we still managed to provide every cancer patient with care, even without cost, in places like the Tata Memorial Hospital, right? We had a education system that provided free education to students, or very subsidized education to students that people like you and I used to go to. But today, parents do not want to send their children to government schools. We have public libraries, we have public institutions that we're not investing in today. We're so blinded by this idea that we need to rewrite the past, or we need to take down the opposition, or we need to do this or do that we're forgetting the brass tacks of governance and why we entered politics in the first place, right?
Yeah.
So we need a new vision for what systemic change looks like. We need to move beyond the big numbers. We have Startup India, Sit Down India, Shut Up India, where they censor all of us, including me. But we have all of these great schemes, but they're nice. But what is the vision for public education, for public healthcare? If we build an Atal Setu for 13,000 crore rupees or a coastal road for 13,000 crore rupees, can we spend 1,300 crore rupees on public hospitals in Mumbai that ensure that KEM hospital does not have the same long line outside it that it had during a Congress government?
Yeah.
You abused the Congress government, said the Congress was bad, the NCPSP was bad. All of this is true. I agree with you. I'm not saying the past 70 years were glorious. In fact, as a young person, I am impatient for progress. I don't think people in my own party, people in politics who came before me did enough. And that is the impatience of youth that I am entitled to.
Right.
And that I will support and defend. That I will say that tumne bhi kuch kaam nahi kiya. But I won't say that means automatically my party is cancelled or your party is cancelled.
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm reforming my party, but you also reform your party.
Yeah.
And the vision that we need to have is we need to move towards a politics of care. We need to now move away from rationality and we need to move towards care.
So when we come closer to home, especially Maharashtra, right? So many resources, thousands of crores, is lost just when the government changes or there is a split. And I think Maharashtra politics could give a Game of Thrones season finale a run for its money because nobody understood who was the leader going to be. And with the split of the NDA and the new government formed and then a new chief minister, it's just been a rotation to the point where you can't really associate with a particular person or party because you just don't know.
Absolutely.
And I think the most suffering has happened to the people, right?
Absolutely.
Because hands have just moved. Of course, I think that there's been a lot of progress as well. Like I live in Bombay, and I think the coastal road has personally transformed people's lives, and it looks like a new Bombay. It looks like a new Mumbai. What's your opinion on Maharashtra politics, and what do you think is to come?
Maharashtra politics is...
Especially because as Bombay kids, we grew up on the Thackeray name, right?
Absolutely.
Balasaheb Thackeray. We grew up on the politics of it had a certain fabric to it, and today that's fundamentally shifted.
Maharashtra politics is broken today. We used to have a culture in Maharashtra politics of respecting people across party lines. There was a certain decorum and decency that was maintained in politics, even amidst the fiercest opponents. Right? So someone like a Murli Devra, Milin's father, was made mayor of Mumbai through Balasaheb Thackre's help. Even though he was in the Congress, Balasaheb Thackeray was in the Shiv Sena.
Yeah.
Right? Someone like a Pawar Sahib, Sharad Pawar, was bitter enemies with Balasaheb Thackeray. But they worked together in ensuring that spaces like BKC came up, in ensuring the Mumbai Cricket Association was brought to life. Right? Multiple governments across the history of our state, which is built upon the proud tradition of Shiva Shahu Phule Ambedkar, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, Shahu Maharaj, Mahatma Jyotiba Phule, and Baba Saheb Ambedkar, have recognized that the people of Maharashtra come above politics. But that has changed today. In the desire for a power-hungry grab for seats and for the CM chair, you have seen a complete destruction of the moral fabric of Maharashtra politics. It is shameful for me as a young person today to sit in TV studios and debate Aurangzeb's grave and whether or not it should be ukhadod, or Ranveer Alabhadia's show and whether or not it should be banned, or whether or not the habitat should be trashed. I mean, this is not the Maharashtra I grew up in.
Yeah.
This is not the Mumbai I belong to.
It's extremely intolerant as well.
And for what?
Yeah.
When the monorail stops working, we are told it's the passenger's fault. When the Mumbai Metro 3, which opened 2 weeks before, starts flooding, we're told unseasonal rainfall and told not to ask questions. When the same coastal road that I admire and appreciate and go on every day has potholes in it, we're told ki at least be happy you have a coastal road. That's not the culture of our state. I will ask questions of every government, including my own.
Yeah.
Because I am entitled to governance. Upkar nahi kar raha hai koi hum par. And that language that is set in, that politicians are doing you a favor, that progress is something that you should be grateful for, is what we have to remove.
Yeah.
It's not coming from their pockets. Your taxpayer money, my taxpayer money built that coastal road across successive governments.
A lot of tax.
A lot of tax.
Yeah.
In fact, why was it not cheaper?
Yeah.
Why have the intersections not been fixed properly? I want to be critical all the time because the government is not something I want to tali baja for all the time.
Yeah.
The government is there to serve. It's not there to be a sort of showpiece that I want to look at and smile at. No. Regardless of who's in power.
So does it concern you when, you're a youth politician, your fellow youth politician like Aditya Thackeray, right? Also a Maharashtrian boy.
Yes.
Does it concern you, the series of events that unfolded, because nobody could have imagined it? And you were obviously viewing it from a distance.
No, I was in the middle of it. I was running Milin's campaign. We were in the thick of things and looking at the news unfold in front of our eyes. And I still remember waking up at a friend's house at 6:30 in the morning where he shook me awake and said the government is sworn in and Devendra Fadnavis ji is Chief Minister and Ajit Pawar ji is Deputy Chief Minister. I said, no, you're dreaming. What do you mean? It's not Devendra Fadnavis, it's Uddhav Thackeray. You're getting your politicians wrong. And I was trying to be like silly. And he's showing me his phone. I'm like, no, don't show me this Apple News. Show me NDTV. Show me something reliable. And at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm stunned because the previous night we've assembled our MLAs and said the Mahavikas Aghadi is going to come to power, and suddenly Devendra Fadnavis ji is Chief Minister, Ajit Pawar is Deputy Chief Minister for 12 hours.
Yeah.
And those 12 hours were the most stressful hours because, I've seen someone like an Aditya work as hard as he had. And it was a difficult choice for him, for Uddhav ji as well, to make that switch, right? I don't think it's an ideological decision that was made easily.
Yeah.
To come to the Mahavikas Aghadi, to form that government.
Yeah, because
in fact, I was very critical of that government. To be perfectly honest, I did not think that the party should come together. I'm someone who thinks that ideology is very important in politics. But I got convinced because what ended up happening was that the three parties came together with a common minimum program. Right? You decided that we have our differences, And we are actually very dissimilar to each other, but governance will be what we sort of come together on. Which is why you saw the government focusing on governance and performing brilliantly during the COVID-19 pandemic. You know, my party's leader, Rajesh Topeji, was the health minister during the pandemic. And I can tell you without a doubt that Maharashtra performed better than any other state in this country.
Yeah.
I remember getting phone calls from people in Delhi asking for oxygen cylinders, and nothing has broken my heart more than to say, I simply cannot help you, because even if I call up the PMO, there is no oxygen cylinder left anymore.
Yeah.
And seeing people pass away because of that.
Yeah.
We didn't have that in Maharashtra.
We didn't.
We had the Jumbo Center at BKC set up long before the wave sort of became serious. We had quarantine wards set up by the BMC at every single sort of ward in the city. We had food ration programs that were reaching every single corner from Dharavi to the slums in Kaf Parade. And we were working civil society and government hand in hand. Was that government perfect? Absolutely not. No government is perfect. But what it allowed for, when parties came together as a coalition on a common minimum program, was a form of governance that did not let any single party become too prominent.
Or become bigger than the purpose.
Then bigger than the purpose. You know, recently, I don't know if you've seen this, everyone has seen this in Mumbai and across Maharashtra, seen massive posters across the city of Deva Bhav. You know, I mean, I have no problem with political posters. Please go ahead. But one, tell me who paid for this. Is it my taxpayer money that's paying for these posters? If so, why? They have no mission on them. It's not saying ki we're working on improving your roads, or this is a new mission to end malnutrition, or this is a new scheme for replacing outdated curriculums with AI-enabled curriculums to enable young people to get jobs. Put up those hoardings. Now, you have money now, please put that up.
Yeah.
Put up something productive. And if you've not paid for it, or I've not paid for it, it's not coming from taxpayer money, then who is funding the political parties to put up so many hoardings, and what is their purpose? Why has governance been reduced to putting up photos of the Chief Minister with Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj everywhere, including outside public toilets? You know, you demean and disrespect the icon of your state and also yourself.
Yeah.
Why is your poster there? There's a big garbage dump outside it. Everyone's making fun of you. There are massive potholes. I mean, what is going on? You've lost logic and rationality. You know, because you are trying to one up the other person in your alliance and saying ki, oh, I am insecure ki Eknath Shinde ji is getting more popular. I am insecure that Ajit Pawar is getting more popular. I need to be front and center. I mean, this is the kind of governance that you then get left with. And that is a very bad thing for democracy. It's not just about a political party.
So what do you see as the way forward for Maharashtra?
We're going to have a serious reconsideration of what it means to govern a state like Maharashtra. And people are going to have to start reforms from the ground up. I don't care about the Chief Minister. I don't care about the Prime Minister. I don't care about MPs. I don't care about MLAs. We have to start with our corporators. We don't vote in the BMC elections. That's why we're left with such a politics in a city like Mumbai. That's why we're left with such a politics in a state like Maharashtra. Because the lowest common denominator of politics is your local elected representative who's accountable to you and me, who's responsible for fixing our roads, ensuring that there's electricity in the government hospitals, ensuring that there's books in the school libraries, in the government schools, and ensuring that the metro has enough signage and enough space outside the metro for a footpath to exist where people can leave the metro and walk properly, right? We have to go back to the basics. Unfortunately, we're so screwed today that we can't fix the Chief Minister level nonsense today. We've gone too far, right? I am now completely certain that focusing on big ticket issues and on the state as a whole will not yield returns. We have to focus on the individual candidate level, and we have to hold all parties accountable. We have to tell the Congress party, give me a good candidate. Tell the NCP SP, give me a good candidate. Tell the BJP also, give me a good candidate. To grill these candidates and say, no, I don't care about the Hindu, Muslim, this, that, Modi hai to mumkin hai, Viksit Bharat. No, you tell me what you're doing for me. You tell me what you've done in the last 5 years. You tell me something I can see. Don't tell me I did work on floods in Assam and show me photos from Nagaland. Because I don't know the difference.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of hoodwinking that takes place when we focus on social media to see what progress is. And that's why WhatsApp forward uncles become the strongest torchbearers for a political party whose work they've never seen personally. Including my father, including other people on the other side of the political spectrum also. But I'm like, काम किया है, काम किया है, काम किया है. अरे पर तुम्हारे घर के बाहर का रास्ता नहीं फिक्स किया ना. So how are you not angry about that? Get angry about that. The only way to fix Maharashtra politics today is for you and me to be angry. And to say that this is not done.
Yeah.
You cannot do this anymore. That there cannot be a pothole on the Atal Setu just weeks after it's been inaugurated. That there cannot be these concretized roads that are already cracking right after you concretize them. That you cannot dig up every single road in Bandra only to dig it up again in 3 months.
Bandra is impossible to get in and out.
But how can you do this? You can't say that it's impossible to get. We've become so complacent. We're like, nahi, aise hi hota hai. No. What do you mean aise hi hota hai?
Why is everything being dug up at the same time?
Exactly. I mean, there should be some strategy.
Yeah. 100%.
Why is the taxi outside BKC metro station charging you 200 rupees to take you to BKC? We were the only city in the country that had a meter for every taxi wala to take you by until now. And we've grown complacent and said, ki nahi chalega, okay, abhi gardi hai to chale. What? We'll end up like Delhi. Have you tried catching an auto in Delhi? They'll fleece you. They see you wearing such nice clothes, they'll charge you 300 rupees to go to CP. I get fleeced all the time and I don't know how to survive in a city like Delhi. Because everyone is out there to con you. And we've built a city through decades of hard work that allows every hardworking Mumbaikar to lead a life with dignity. It's one of the few cities which is a terrible city to live in, 100%. It's a rough city to live in, it's a difficult city to live in, but it's a city of opportunity and a city of dreams. It's a city where the Mumbai local functions come hail, come rain. And it's a city where every single Mumbaikar has the opportunity to move up in life, and that opportunity is what I'm seeing disappear in front of my eyes. The way in which we built a city that had 50 years ago the best public transport in the country, with the Mumbai local and the BST buses, being reduced to a city that is dysfunctional on most days, right? Where people are dying every single day because the Mumbai local is so crowded that people are hanging out of the sideboards and getting their heads hit against a pole next to them. How can we accept this? And change the structures. I mean, how much money does it take? Put that money into infrastructure, right? Come up with innovative solutions. Ensure that young kids who are growing up in Siddharth Nagar and Varali are not having to face the prospect of becoming a driver or a Ola delivery partner or some sort of coffee shop worker, and can actually have a chance at a decent future. Create a scenario where a city like Mumbai is not so unaffordable that young people cannot dream of buying a house in it. Where most young people today, if you ask them, cannot even imagine that they'll ever be able to own a home in a city like Mumbai. What city have we created? How will we drive progress? How will we drive innovation? How will we drive the next generation of leaders who make Maharashtra great again?
Yeah.
If we don't think about these things across the party line, we'll be we'll be in deep trouble. And the only way to think about these things is to be angry.
So be angry and then do what?
Be angry.
And then?
And demand accountability.
Where?
Every single place. Go to your BMC ward officer and tell him that what the hell do you think you're doing? You know? Tell him, do your job. Go to your MLA or your corporator when they come to your housing society and they're like, vote do, be like, nahi denge. Kya kaam kiya? Enter politics yourself. If you're feeling angry, then enter politics. Be the change you want to see in the world. Tomorrow's Gandhi Jayanti.
Tomorrow's Gandhi Jayanti, yeah.
And be the change you want to see in the world. And then take things into your own hand. A corporator in Mumbai is elected with 4,000 to 7,000 votes on average. Which means, in your neighborhood, if you know at least 200 to 500 people, which we all do, family, friends, etc., you're a significant voting bloc. You're deciding whether or not that guy wins or loses. You have power in your hands. Mobilize people. We can start book clubs and kitty parties. Why can't we start political action groups?
Yeah.
To say that we are 5,000 people in this constituency who will not vote for any candidate if they don't protect the park next to us. Or we are 300 people, or rather, please, and I encourage every person to do this, we are 3 lakh Mumbaikars. I encourage anyone who can start this petition to do it, and I will support it wholeheartedly. 3 lakh Mumbaikars who will refuse to vote for any party that does not have a comprehensive plan on air pollution.
Oh my God, yes.
How can I deal with the fact that the air pollution in Mumbai is worse than the air pollution in Delhi, And I live in a coastal city that never had an air pollution problem. Chennai has an air quality of 4. And Mumbai has an air quality index of 400.
That's insane.
How can we let this happen? Our kids are getting stunted lungs. They're going to grow up to not be functional adults because they're growing up with 400 AQI. I mean, these are very, very serious things that we have to wake up to. Otherwise, there's no point in building all of this infrastructure because the people using this infrastructure will be dead.
Yeah.
So sorry, I get very angry, but
no, it is.
I mean, the anger is what drives my entry into politics.
Yeah.
Right? I think that these are issues that need to be fixed, and if nobody else is fixing them, then roll up your sleeves
and do something about it.
Get down to work.
Yeah, absolutely. So now we're going to rapid fire.
Oof.
Just fun.
Very fun.
Make it fiery.
Make it very fiery.
Okay.
You're going to get me cancelled as a politician.
No.
But already I've said so many things
to get you cancelled. Fix for Bombay. Housing, transport or governance?
Housing. First affordable housing, then everything else.
Okay. A Bollywood star who would make a good politician?
Wow, this is really... Ishan Khattar.
Really? Why?
Very Bombay boy.
Okay.
He'd make a very good... He's always in Bandra. He's very committed to Bandra.
Yeah.
He'd do very nice. I think he would really invigorate the art and culture scene. Or Zahan Kapoor.
Really?
Zahan Kapoor would make a great culture minister for Maharashtra. I would love to see Zahan Kapoor as culture minister for Maharashtra.
Okay. 2 young Indians in any field you believe are shaping India's next generation?
Wow, this is a very intense rapid fire. I have to think a lot. 2 young Indians who are shaping the future of India's next generation. The first person I would say is... Gosh, I don't hang out with young people at all. You have to remember that all the people I hang out with are in their 60s and their 70s. And so I have to really think hard. This is very controversial also to say all of these answers. But young people.
Like youngish.
Youngish. Now my
Well,
brain
I have
is-
one. I can give you an example.
Give me an example. Yeah, that's good.
Like Afroz Shah, who cleaned the Versova beach.
Correct. Afro Shah is a good example.
Yeah.
Versova beach cleanup is a very good example.
Yeah.
I'd like to give 2 movements. I think young people-led movements are more powerful for me.
Okay,
So I
fine.
think the RA, Save RA movement, young people who put together that movement, kudos. They are the future of this country. And the guys who all the incredible young people who put together Shaheen Bagh. Agree with them, disagree with them, love them, hate them. What a powerful way to bring together an entire community and to show that young people can make difference happen and to set up a library there and have kids draw. Amazing.
Yeah, beautiful. One law you would repeal today if you had the power?
The sort of UAPA,
Hmm.
the Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, which is a disaster because they can put you or me into jail.
Just saying.
And the only thing that you can do is wait for you to be pronounced not guilty because the only law where you're guilty until proved innocent.
Yeah. First app you open every morning?
Instagram. It's very bad. I need to keep my phone there.
Are you on a dating app?
I'm not on a dating app anymore, but I would like to be since now my photo is everywhere anyway.
You can now be very
I can
openly on
now
a
be,
dating app.
I know. But abhi mera dating app is national television because I've been told कि opposition spokespersons are seen more than they're heard.
Okay.
तो हम सिर्फ अच्छे दिखते हैं TV पे and I smile and then I'm like अच्छा कोई ढूंढ ले तो ढूंढ लो.
One word you want deleted from Indian political discourse?
Oh God. Actually, I have a longer conversation on this, but secularism. It's
Really?
maligned on both sides. People don't understand what secularism is. So, आप भूल जाओ. Secularism बोलो ही मत.
Just forget the context.
Forget context क्योंकि I've become too tired of explaining things. वो
A political quote that defines you or that you carry with you?
You have nothing to fear but fear itself.
Garnish for India 2035. Innovation, empathy or discipline?
Empathy. We are,
Which is why you were saying
we are
politics
in an
it cares.
age of AI and AI can think. But as Andrew O'Hagan, who's an incredible author who wrote Caledonian Road, said, AI does not know how to feel.
Yeah.
So we need to know how to feel because that's the only thing setting us apart anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Before we move to your closet, which is a segment that I'm very, very excited
I'm
about
also
to
very
see what it
excited
looks
for this.
like,
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you about love.
Very exciting. Love and heartbreak. Please go ahead.
What do you think defines love? Given that you've seen the curve, right?
Oof.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a hopeless romantic.
Same.
So I love falling in love.
Yeah.
And love is butterflies in your stomach, and love is waking up in the morning with an urgent need to know if somebody has texted you back, and love is yearning for someone who's yearning for you as well, and sometimes love is the smaller things, like knowing that somebody is remembering you as you take a flight, and knowing that there's somebody you can text taking off and landing to.
Yeah.
You know, and love comes in many forms and love comes in many shapes, but love is always special, and the problem is love is eternal, which means that once you've loved someone, even after they break your heart, you have to continue loving them, and that love is the hardest to continue.
Oh my God. When was the last time you were in love?
It's been a little while. Earlier this year, I felt smittenly for somebody
Oh, cute.
who entered my life and then exited it just as swiftly. But that's why I said love is something that's beautiful, even when it lasts a very short amount of time, and it's a love that I'll carry in my heart until I find another love that fills the void left behind.
So beautiful. You should write. Like you should
I do
that
write, so I
poetry.
translate poetry from Marathi to English. I don't know if Ramchandra Siras's poem is somewhere here, but the writing I don't get enough time for. So
But you should.
I
You
need
shall.
to. I must.
Yeah,
I
you
must.
You must. Okay, we move to your closet, and
I'm
very
gonna move
excited
to my
get it.
closet.
Yeah,
And okay, lovely. Let's go.
let's go. So you have a
And
walk-in.
I have a walk-in wardrobe, which is why I'm in Delhi and not in Mumbai.
Because you can get
houses
this.
like these don't
Does
exist in
exist.
Mumbai.
Yeah. So tell me what's what.
So we'll start off with Netaji outfits are all here.
Oh my God.
So you'll see
Wow.
all of my kurtas.
What's your
You'll see.
favorite?
The one I'm wearing right now, I have
Is your
multiple
Oh,
variations.
I
This
feel so
is
special. You wore your favorite.
I did
for the
wear my
interview.
favorite for you. This is matka fabric from Bihar. So it's a kind
Wow.
of raw silk,
Yeah.
but it doesn't crease, which is the most useful thing that you can
Most
have as a
useful.
politician.
Yeah.
Because you're throwing things around. And then this is another one that I really love. I don't get to wear it very often.
God.
This is from Senegal because I did all of my undergraduate work on Francophone West
yeah,
Africa.
Yeah.
And so it's a kurta but with beautiful wax cotton fabric from Senegal.
That's amazing.
And then of course all of my Nehru jackets and all of the other fun stuff occupies the rest of this wardrobe. So this is the daily wear.
This is daily. This is where you go to every
This is where I go every day.
Okay, and
And now this is what you should be jealous of me for,
I'm very
because
excited.
you get to come to Delhi to wear all of these clothes, which you can't in
Oh,
Mumbai,
God.
which is all the knits and the sweaters that I love.
Oh,
From like a coat to, and you know, this is one of my favorite ones from Jaipur,
wow.
which is a gorgeous
It's
sort
beautiful.
of brocade
Look at the
finish.
print.
It's
Yeah.
an amazing print.
Wow.
And I love the color pink. So
It's-
it's
yeah.
one of my other favorite works. And then some other fun ones. These I don't get to wear as a Netaji anymore. So these, unfortunately, apparently, this is not Netaji approved.
I think
So-
it's approved. Like it's so
Achha, it's
beautiful.
approved.
Yeah, it's
Chalo,
like, wow.
now
Like you should
this
just
is
wear it. Own
now
the
I'm going
fashion.
to go with it. Go with it. Political fashion will have a transformation.
It's
And
good,
then some
right?
like
Motivate.
these, which are again from Jaipur, beautiful.
Oh my God, what's
I
this
mean, with
brand?
some
Do
of
they
this-
do women?
No, this is from an import-export warehouse.
Do they do women?
They do everything. You go into this warehouse and you have to.
Oh my
It's
God.
like thousands of clothes lying.
Please give me the address.
Done.
Please.
No, you have to come with me.
Okay, come. Let's.
Then I will get you a nice gift. So this is all the winter wear. So
Wow.
this stays packed up in the closet until the weather
Now.
gets nicer. And now once November hits, all of these
It's
start
out.
coming out.
Yeah.
And that is the cat cupboard,
Oh, this
which
has.
is for all of the kitties
Yeah.
who have to be hidden for you.
Don't say
all
that.
all the kitties are to be hidden because of Karishma, not because of me.
No, they
But
were kept sweetly.
they were kept sweetly. No, they love it.
Okay.
They don't mind at all.
Okay.
And this is all the hair care. So this is
Oh yeah, you were discussing your hair routine. So what
Correct.
is your hair? Like you're at a dinner and you have to go on camera. What do you do?
this.
What is this?
It's Kerasta's Curl Manifesto serum mixed with water that I will just spray onto my hair.
And you carry this for dinners.
So I have a smaller bottle that I carry for dinners, which is like this tiny. I don't know where it is currently. It must be in my other bag. And you do this and your hair is fixed.
Wow.
And so wherever you are, it doesn't frizz, etc., etc.
That's why you're always camera ready.
And that's why I'm always camera ready. So I'm very excited. So I have no makeup. I have none of that. But lip balm, very important because your lips get very chapped and dry in Delhi. And moisturizer and sunscreen, very important.
So what's your skincare routine? Just that.
Sunscreen, moisturizer, hair care, and lip balm.
That's it.
That's it.
Wow.
Ready to go.
Yeah, so simple. To
Simple.
look so amazing.
To look so merry, you're far too kind. You're far too kind. And that is the
New York style.
New York style bathroom
So
that I
jealous
became.
of when I-
Yes, that I had a. Oops.
Sound. Ah.
That I had a lovely friend from Mumbai actually help me
It
design.
looks so chic.
And it
looks so
was
chic.
it's my pride of place. This is, if politics does not succeed as a career, interior design will succeed.
I'm with you.
So please hire me to be your interior designer. Please hire me to be your interior designer. I'll make beautiful bathrooms like these.
Wow. So there's a
And
little seat also.
the little seat also, there's this old, this is what babus used to have in their offices back in the day.
Yeah.
And Delhi is beautiful because you can go to all of these old furniture markets and you can get these beautiful pieces for nothing.
I just went to Banjara Market.
You just went to Banjara
And I was
Market.
like, oh my
And it's
God.
amazing.
Yeah.
That mirrors from Amar Colony and the
Wow.
old furniture market over there. And this is all, not to do this in a very Netaji fashion, but it's all made in India.
But it's
So
true.
every single fitting, it's Jacqua, proud made in India company. The lights are Decon, which is an amazing shop that's been there for almost 100
Wow.
years in Khan Market. And it's really also trying to reinvent what India means to the world. I think this is also where politics comes in, right?
Yeah.
How do you support businesses like these? How do you make sure that Indian craftsmanship, that herringbone pattern was laid by a mistri who would probably be paid a handsome sum if he were ever to go abroad,
Yeah.
but who unfortunately does not get the exposure that he needs in a country like India
And what
for the
brilliant
quality of
work.
work. Exactly, and to be able to lay it out like that with a level in a house that's a little topsy-turvy with the ceilings,
It's
etc.
beautiful. This is like sanctuary.
It's my sanctuary.
And there's a little speaker there.
Yeah, there's a little speaker there where Kishore Kumar's beats are sort of playing gently
Yeah.
in the evenings, and that's the closet. Never thought I'd go back into the closet
You're
with you,
back in the
Karishma, so I'm
closet
back in the
with me.
closet. So I need a very big closet because if I had to go back into one, then it had to
Let
be
it
a
at
nice
least be
big
nice
one.
and big.
So I keep joking. When my mother came and visited, she said, "Your closet is the size of your Mumbai bedroom."
That's true.
And I said, "This is why I
Welcome to
live in
Delhi.
I was
Yes.
like, "You can also move to Delhi."
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anish. It's been so lovely, and I think everybody who's watching got a true glimpse into you, your personality, and I think your house is so you.
Thank you very much. It is
And
really.
your washroom is so you.
And my
your
washroom
closet
is so me, and
you.
my closet is so. It's a really a little slice of Mumbai and Delhi that keeps me sane, sorted, and ready to face 9 p.m. TV debates.
Yeah, but thank you so much for doing this and giving me the opportunity to decode the human behind
Thank
the
you
national
very much.
television persona.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to all of you for watching.